All right. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I am doing. Oh my gosh. Hey guys. Sorry. I'm doing video and audio this week, so we'll see how that goes. But hey, hi. Welcome back to episode 22 of Divine FM. This week I'm talking about stepping into your power and freeing yourself. I have two main points I wanted to go over, but I also have a few excerpts, I guess, from this book I've been reading called what is it called? Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. I'm maybe halfway through it, and it's just very transformational and has helped me a lot throughout this journey of trying to evolve into a better version of myself, into a higher version of myself, and the best version of myself possible by really just doing everything that feels right in my heart. And so what felt right in my heart was to, work on all of the things that really triggered me and diving deep into my, I guess, trauma / just things that really hurt me or affected me in a large way that I continue to carry that pain every single day. I wanted to be able to free myself from those things, and also free myself from the possibility of more things holding me back in the future / being able to experience my life in a way that is more balanced, more free. So my first point is deciding that you no longer want to suffer. I know that's a big, not a big thing to say, but just, it's easier said than done, that just saying that you don't want to suffer. But I feel like it's deeper than that. It's deciding that you aren't gonna let the things that come across your life every single day change you, to take you away from your seat of consciousness, to ruin your day and affect you in the future emotionally. It's so possible to be able to create a headspace that lets things go. That was my second point, is letting things go. I didn't want to bring that up yet, but basically, yeah, is being able to have a headspace that is free enough to not let disturbances affect you largely all day long. For example, I put for fears, for example, not good enough, or fear of failure, or that fear of people taking advantage of you, or that someone will stop loving you, things like that. Things that haven't even happened, or things that do happen but shouldn't change you in a way that is transformational, and yet it happens all the time. We let things that are kind of minute change us in such large ways, because we let it manifest and sit, and we keep thinking about it, and we keep bringing energy back to the thing that hurt us in the first place, instead of just letting it go. And so I think that being able to live in a world where you allow yourself to say, how would I put this? You don't see problems as problems. You see problems as, what did I write? I actually wrote something really good for this. Embrace problems as agents for growth. So being able to see things in a lighter perspective, in a wider perspective as well. I have a excerpt from this book that I wanted to talk about. Where is it? Here you go. It says, out, and this is from Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. It kind of goes, I don't know how to like begin where it's at, but I'll just begin. It says, the alternative is to decide not to fight with life. You realize and accept that life is not under your control. Life is continuously changing, and if you're trying to control it, you'll never be able to fully live it. Instead of living life, you're afraid of life. But once you decided not to fight with life, you'll have to face the fear that was causing you to fight. Fortunately, you don't have to keep this fear inside of you. There is such a thing as a life without fear. In order to relate to this possibility, we must first have a deeper understanding of fear itself. When you have fear inside of you, the events of life invariably stimulate it. Like a rock thrown into water, the world, with its continuous changes, creates ripples into whatever is held within you. There's nothing wrong with that. Life creates situations that push you to your edges, all with the effect of removing what is blocked inside of you. That which is blocked and buried within you forms the root of fear. Fear is caused by blockages in the flow of your energy. When your energy is blocked, it can't come up and feed your heart. Therefore, your heart becomes weak. When your heart is weak, it becomes susceptible to lower vibrations, and one of the lowest of all vibrations is fear. Fear is the cause of every problem. It's the root of all prejudices and the negative emotions of anger, jealousy, and possessiveness. If you had no fear, you could be perfectly happy living in this world, and nothing would bother you. You'd be willing to face everything and everyone because you wouldn't have fear inside of you that could cause you a disturbance. The purpose of spiritual evolution is to remove the blockages that cause you fear. The alternative is to protect your blockages so that you don't have to feel fear. To do this, however, you will have to try to control everything in order to avoid your inner issues. It's hard to understand how we decided that avoiding our inner issues is an intelligent thing to do, but everyone's doing it. And then there's this other, it continues, but I circle this one part and says, in other words, if somebody does something that stimulates fear, you think they did something wrong. Then you do everything you can to make sure they never do it again. First you defend yourself, then you protect yourself. You do whatever you can from feeling the disturbance. I love that. Makes so much sense, and it also makes me feel better because I no longer feel like people are treating me a certain way because of me. Like, it has really, not just this book specifically, but like this concept has really shown me that the way that people treat you is an example of how they feel about themselves. And if you just can really sit and not react to, and even if you do react to situations that happen to you, like, for example, this morning, I know my dad doesn't listen to my podcast, so I guess I can talk about it. Not to, like, I love my dad. Like, we have an amazing relationship. But my dad is a very angry person, and he tends to take that out on people, and me especially. For some reason, I don't know, he has this very negative perception of me, and it's taken me a very, very long time to accept that nothing I can do will change how he sees me. I can't control how he sees me. I just kind of have to be myself and live my life freely, and hopefully that will inspire him maybe to grow himself, because if he wants to have, a better relationship with me than what we do now, he would be the one that would have to be making those changes. And like, I'm not the one telling him that. Like, I'm not going to tell him that. So I just deal with what our relationship is with now, and I love it for what it is, because that's like, it works with both of our boundaries, and it's great. But also sometimes my boundaries are crossed, like getting yelled at. I do not like getting yelled at, and I still tend to react whenever he yells at me, because it genuinely like brings, like, I don't know, pain, anxiety, just negative energy and feelings to my body, and I immediately just want to protect myself because he just has this very skewed image of me. Anyways, earlier I got home from work, and the first thing he did was say something negative to me, and I reacted, and I was upset because he just, I don't know, I don't really want to go into it, but basically I just left the situation and I didn't react like emotionally. I just was like kind of pissed, and then I left and I went upstairs and I cried. Well, actually that was this morning. Oh my gosh, there's two occurrences today with my dad. This morning actually I slept in and I woke up to him yelling at me, and I just let him leave, and then I cried alone, and I sat there and I was like, he's just acting this way because he would get this mad at himself if he slept in. Like, I wouldn't get mad at myself like this if I slept in on accident. Like, I did sleep in on accident, but instead I just, after, you know, that occurrence, I just, you know, put on my speaker, listen to music, and take my time as much as I can, you know. I'll like map however long it takes me to get to work, and because I love myself and I want to be gentle with myself and soft with myself because I deserve that. Like, I just do not like being treated harshly. And so I did have that realization today that people really do treat you as they feel about themselves. And so take that into consideration whenever people are negative towards you, people are mean to you, or just anything that like happens that like makes you feel shitty about yourself, like, but coming from someone else, like, just remember that it's not about you. Like, they're truly just like projecting how they feel inside outwardly. And like, if you let that energy like, if you absorb that energy, I guess, and like react to it and like let it actually affect you, and you take it in and like you believe what they say, then they accomplished what they wanted, you know. And so we don't want to give them that. Your energy is sacred, so, you know, protect yourselves and your energy. I guess I'll just go into my second point, is letting go. And that is the highlight, I guess, of the current stage I'm in my life. I feel like I am really trying to just let go of control of everything in my life, basically. There was a few things, I guess, I still just like was really grasping onto that made me feel safe, that made me feel protected. And I realized that I can't just like morph my life around protecting myself from something that I'm scared of, or something that I feel shame about, or something that I feel, you know, anything about, like, negative about. Instead, I want to free myself, and so I choose to let go of those things fully, like, not let them be attached to me anymore. Let's see what I wrote on my notes. I keep forgetting to look at my notes. If anything disturbs you, let it go immediately. If you react, it's okay, but don't let it take your peace. If you don't, you lose your seat of consciousness. Facts. I think it's really important to notice that you noticed. And once you're able to do that, that's like, you're free. Like, if you're able to have that relationship, I guess, with your mind, because you know how like yourself and your mind and yourself, whenever you're present in conscious, are like two separate entities. If you're able to like have a relationship with that sense of self inside, to where you don't let it, like, you don't believe it right away, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like fact immediately. Like, you have to get some freaking information, outside sources. You have to like literally like not believe your mind right away. Like, intrusive thoughts, but not just intrusive thoughts. It's like those everyday thoughts, like things that feel like reactions or just projections of those inner traumas that we still hold on to. You know, you have to be able to uncover those things about yourself to be able to let them go as well. But like, as you heal, you uncover those things. And we've already gone through that process in my podcast, so we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, there's actually this analogy in this book that I wanted to talk about. And I guess I can end off the podcast with this, because it was really, really good. And I think it's an amazing way to describe. There we go. Wait, what did I? Okay. I already talked about that. Okay, so this analogy is removing your inner thorn, and it basically is talking about this concept of noticing the things that hold you down, that control you, that keep you not free, basically, and removing them. And this is how, I guess, like, it's describing how to do it, but like not in like a real world way, like, so you can understand the concept of what those things are. So I'm hope I'm doing an okay job of explaining this. All right, imagine that you have a thorn in your arm that directly touches a nerve. When the thorn is touched, it's very painful. Because it hurts so much, the thorn is a serious problem. It's difficult to sleep because you roll over on it. It's difficult to get close to people because they might touch it. It makes your daily life very difficult. You can't even go for a walk in the woods because you might brush the thorn against the branches. This thorn is a constant source of disturbance, and to solve the problem, you only have two choices. The first choice is to look at your situation and decide that since it's so disturbing when things touch the thorn, you need to make sure nothing touches it. The second choice is to decide that since it's so disturbing when things touch the thorn, you need to take it out. Let me read that again. This thorn is a constant source of disturbance, and to solve the problem, you only have two choices. The first choice is to look at your situation and decide that since it's so disturbing when things touch the thorn, you need to make sure that nothing touches it. The second choice is to decide that since it's so disturbing when things touch the thorn, you need to take it out. Believe it or not, the effects of the choice you make will determine the course of the rest of your life. This is one of the core level structural decisions that lay the foundation for your future. It turns out that the life of protecting yourself from your problem becomes a perfect reflection of the problem itself. You didn't solve anything. If you don't solve the root cause of the problem, but instead attempt to protect yourself from the problem, it ends up running your life. You end up so psychologically fixated on the problem that you can't see the forest for the trees. You actually feel that because you've minimized the pain of the problem, you solved the problem. But it's not solved. All you did was devote your life to avoiding it. It is now the center of your universe, and it's all there is. And I wrote, let go immediately. Yeah, so I don't think two more things. Sorry, guys. It was just so insightful. If you do not remove the thorn, you will end up responsible for both the thorn and everything you pulled around yourself in an attempt to avoid it. So how do you free yourself? In the deepest sense, you free yourself by finding yourself. You are not the pain you feel, nor are you the part that periodically stresses you out. None of these disturbances have anything to do with you. You are the one who notices these things. Notice that. You're noticing. Because your consciousness is separate and aware of these things, you can free yourself. To free yourself of your inner thorns, you simply stop playing with them. The more you touch them, the more you irritate them. Because you're always doing something to avoid feeling them, you are not given the chance to naturally work themselves out. If you want, you can simply permit the disturbances to come up and you can let them go. Since your inner thorns are simply blocked energies from the past, they can be released. The problem is you either completely avoid situations that could cause them to release or you push them down in the name of protecting yourself. Suppose you're sitting at home watching TV. You enjoy the program until the two main characters fall in love. Suddenly you feel loneliness, but there's no one around to give you attention. Interestingly, you were just fine a few minutes ago. This is an example of the thorn. It's always in your heart. It's not just active, I can't. This example shows that the thorn is always in your heart. It's just not activated until something touches it. You feel the reaction as a hollowness or a dropping sensation in your heart. It feels very uncomfortable. A sense of weakness comes over you and you begin thinking of other times that you were left alone or of people who have hurt you. Stored energy from the past releases from the heart and generates thoughts. What you can do is notice that you noticed. All you have to do is notice who it is that feels the loneliness. The one who notices is already free. If you want to be free of those energies, you must allow them to pass through you instead of hiding them inside of you. If you sit within this self, you will experience the strength of your inner being, even when your heart feels weak. This is the essence of the path. This is the essence of spiritual life. Once you learn that it's okay to feel inner disturbances and that they can no longer disturb your seat of consciousness, you will be free. You will begin to be sustained by the inner energy flow that comes behind you. When you have tasted the ecstasy of the inner flow, you can walk in this world and the world will never touch you. That's how you become a free being. You transcend. It's crazy because I literally just I posted some selfies on Instagram and I literally captioned it, she #transcended. Like before I read this, sheesh. Guys, when I told you I'm a spiritual being, like, not to be like, whatever, you know, she's a spiritual, like, I just feel very connected to God, to source, to my self, my soul, and honestly, I do feel like a pretty spiritual being. I feel very connected to the universe, and like everything happens so synchronistically for me, so serendipitously for me always. And well, not always, only whenever I'm, you know, actually aligned with my thoughts and my purpose and doing what feels right for me. But that goes for everyone, you know. You have to be able to truly accept what is happening to you and, you know, let it go. You have to be able to see the world for what it is, but not, I don't know, I guess, I feel like I keep repeating myself. Did I just like totally not even like have a buffer? I was talking about how I'm a spiritual being. I can't. I'm like literally at a loss for words for what I just read. I literally can't. I just want to end off this podcast by saying, okay, it's still recording. I just wanted to end off the podcast by, you know, saying how grateful I am to have this experience, like this spiritual experience, this, to be living every day, and, you know, to have my podcast, to watch myself grow and evolve, and my YouTube channel. Like I actually can't believe it. Like today I was at work and not really on my phone anymore at work, so I didn't let myself like scroll for that long, but I was looking through my YouTube channel to see if there was any, you know, new subscribers or anything like that. And I was just like looking at the titles of my vlogs and just remembering what was in my vlogs over the course of these months, and it really blows my mind because I have, oh my goodness gracious, like I feel like I was a different person like in every single era of my life. Like it's just insane to see my growth, and I'm so immensely proud of myself, and I want to stay on this path forever. I'm just so fulfilled. I feel so whole and so loved and like so balanced, and I just, you know, I know every day has ups and downs, you know. I'm not always going to be so blissful. I am fully prepared for, you know, things to happen to me in the future, but that's why I want to be as healthy spiritually and mentally and physically as I can now, so I'm prepared for things that happen to me in the future, that I'm prepared to treat the people that I meet in the future with like the utmost and like the most unconditional, you know, love and grace and truthfulness. And oh, that was something else I wanted to talk about, is just a little thing, is how can you expect what was it? Basically, it's like, how can you expect to get truth out of life? Like, how can you expect truth if you aren't living your own truth? You know, like, how can you go about, you know, manifestations, for example? Like, how can you say you want to I'm not gonna say that, actually. Let's say you want to manifest a new car. It's one thing to say that you want a new car. It's another thing to say that you are going to start, you know, a small business, and you're going to start that to make money for this new car, or you're going to get a second job for the new car. It's another thing to actually put the energy into getting that second job or making that small business. It's another thing to actually love that small business or love that second job, but still want that car, you know? Like, there's so much that goes into what you get out of life. I feel like I hope I'm not talking too broadly. Basically, like, if you are putting out energy that's negative, you're gonna get energy that's negative back. If you're putting out energy that's positive, that's directly towards what you want, what your goals are, you're gonna get those things in return because you're aligned with those things. Like, let's say with my job, for example, I really wanted to become a salesman. And so I can say that now because I actually am a salesman. So peace, guys. I back in December of last year, I went to trade school, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna learn about the pumps. And I went to trade school for pump and motor maintenance, so I'm technically a certified pump and motor maintenance technician. I literally forget, but I went there because I wanted to learn about pumps and pump and motor maintenance, you know, and I did, and I educated myself, and then I talked to my work about the fact that I want to educate myself more on what we're learning and how I want to become a salesman. And they were like very eager to please because I had already like put forth my own energy into showing that I want to become a salesman. I wasn't just saying that I wanted to become one. I was telling them that I had already paid for this trade school. I was going to this trade school. It was happening. And then because I had told them that I wanted to become a salesman maybe like 2 months before my trade school, or like month and a half before, I can't remember exactly, but I just went to the president's office and marched up to his desk, and I straight up asked him, I just said, if I put in the energy to educate myself on pump and motor maintenance and everything that we sell here, and I know it inside and out, would you promote me to a salesman? And he said, absolutely. And I said, slay. And I went out. And look at me now. It hasn't even been that long since then, and I have already made sales, which is amazing. Like, the way that I'm like literally living so gracefully in a man's world is insane to me, but also not, because I'm living in it so gracefully. So it's like fun for me. But anyways, yeah, even after the trade school though, like I didn't get the promotion right away, and I technically like am not even like a full-time salesman. Like, I'm doing secretary work and salesman work, so I'm like basically doing both, but we just like don't have a replacement secretary. And I also want to educate myself more. I've been like studying every day, and it's just a lot. So work in progress to do that, but I'm very happy with where I'm at, and I'm very, very, very proud of myself, and I feel very proud to say now that I have done that, because before I just didn't really want to have anyone's opinions or thoughts or really anything to say about what I was doing, because I knew that I had a vision in mind, and when I set my sights on something, there's nothing that can get in my way. And so yeah, I just continued to educate myself after the trade school, and my boss was actually the one who, not the president, it was like a different person who came up to me and told me that there was a promotional line for me and that I can start making sales, and they made me a sales email, and then, you know, I started getting calls. And so, you know, that only happened because I decided to change my energy. I could have continued to just be a secretary. Like, I could have just been happy with, you know, but the thing is, I wasn't happy with where I was at. I knew that I was destined for so much more. I knew that I was capable for more, and I started to get bored. Like, whenever I start to feel stagnant, I, you know, want to grow. I want to push myself. I never want to live in a world that isn't challenging me, you know? Like, how can you like, what motivates you if you don't have something to like improve on, or something that, not even to improve on, or just something to like make you want to be better, to make you want to do good, to make you, you know, they always say, you know, it feels good to do things for other people. Like, of course it feels good to do things for other people, but seeing how you can help other people, or you can help yourself, or you can change things that are greater than you, are also important. And I feel like just keep that into consideration as well, you know, whenever we're like trying to, I just lost my train of thought. I hate that. We're just gonna move on because I can't. I guess that's all I really have to say. This week I really just wanted to focus on the topic of freeing yourself, because that's where I'm at. I feel free. I'm free. Free falling. Literally. But yeah, I suppose this is the end of the podcast. I really appreciate you listening. If you are still here listening, ears open, smiles, wide, hopefully. And oh my gosh, also the video, I didn't forget that it was there, but I'm doing surprisingly well with it there, so take that with what you will. But yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will see you next time, and I will hopefully have a guest next week. I really have been wanting one. It's been on my mind. I've asked a few people, and still no one wants to be on my podcast. But fingers crossed. I have a feeling that I am in a new era of my life. I am in a new energy, and I've successfully, well, I don't want to say I've successfully stepped into my power, because this season is stepping into your power. So let's just say I'm like, I have stepped into it. Like, she's in it. And I want to continue to climb the ladder, because she's like a never-ending ladder, I guess. But like, there's platforms every couple of steps. Once you get to a certain point, I guess. I don't know. I'm just making shit up at this point. But yeah, I'm going to end the podcast now. But I hope you guys have an amazing week. And I will see you next time on Divine FM. Bye, guys.